But Sanjay, talking about the politics, the 2 days of Lok Sabha debate, and then, today the Rajya Sabha debate has begun. Prime Minister is again going to reply, I think, tomorrow. But, everybody is talking about the fact in the political corridors of Parliament. If you talk about this particular debate with the people, they will say the entire effort of the BJP was focused on isolating Congress from the India alliance. This is what they thought, that they will use this opportunity to isolate Congress from entirely the India bloc. But what it has resulted is a greater unity within the India bloc. Now, if you look at the other party leaders, how they've spoken on the constitution, it looks like a grand unity of the India alliance. So was this some kind of a design which BJP thought could have used to its advantage, but ultimately now it has failed?
Well, Neelu, let me tell you, the BJP lecturing or giving sermons to the people of India or the opposition on the constitution, and I tweeted about it, is like the hyena, which is basically a scavenger, is like the hyena basically advocating the use of buttermilk and chas and lassi. I mean, it's really a joke, I'm telling you. I mean, for God's sake, don't carry your hypocrisy to this level, BJP. You see, this is what happens to parties when they are completely drunk or intoxicated in power. They have won 2 elections recently against odds, and therefore they believe the people of this country 100% endorse everything they do. And they should ask the young people who are out of jobs as to what they feel about it. The farmers are already protesting, by the way. We know that. So the bottom line is this, Neelu, that when you hear the opposition speakers, they have actually used this forum to highlight what is seriously wrong with our country, and nothing is changing. It's getting progressively worse. Mahua was also equally, blunt when she talked about how the former Chief Justice of India of the Supreme Court made a certain comment or observation on the Places of Worship Act, and that opened floodgates to all kind of attempts by these saffron supporting units to create further, tensions in our society. It's a reality. And by the way, the government of this country, Mr. Modi's government, is apparently going to file an affidavit to say why the Places of Worship Act needs to be challenged, right? And that act, by the way, is considered to be the basic structure of the Constitution. So I want to bring this point again on your program, that here is a party that is challenging through an affidavit in the Supreme Court, or what is incorporated by the Supreme Court as a basic structure of the Constitution. If you need any further evidence of BJP's duplicitous politics, here you have it. And I would like to give you one more example. There are hundreds of them. But here is another. The electoral bonds. In my opinion, one of the biggest financial scams this country has seen, where the government acted like a mafia. It was in the, I'm putting a gun on your head, extortion, or you pay me a bribe and take a contract. The Supreme Court had to call it unconstitutional. I think, I have to give it to the BJP though. Here is Nirmala Sitharaman, India's finance minister, under whose nose SEBI has chosen to become, literally like a paper tiger. It's not even a paper tiger, it's a paper mouse. It hasn't done anything on Gautam Adani's group at all. Number 2, all these Hindenburg report allegations, stock market manipulation, accounting fraud, money in tax havens, right? All these happened under the watch of the finance ministry. The Gautam Adani scam has happened under the finance ministry, reporting to Nirmala Sitharaman. Electoral bonds, by the way, raising monies, is happened under the watch of Nirmala Sitharaman. The finance minister has no intention to resign, but she and the others will remind you of Nehru. They will probably go back 1,000 years if you give them a little more time. But this is what happens when you have a party which is mentally bankrupt, morally compromised, and I think intellectually so enfeebled that all it can do is to blame the Congress. I heard Narendra Modi's speech briefly in clips. I find watching Mr. Modi's speech over 5 minutes an intolerable experience. And
by the way, it was almost a 2-hour speech. 2 hour
almost,
speech.
yeah, exactly. And I have in fact tweeted about today why I think he's an absolutely subpar orator. I've mentioned that in great detail. And can you imagine he's replying to an opposition debate when he was not even in parliament? So is the prime minister telling the people of this country that I will listen to the opposition, what they said in parliament on TV, and then I will reply to you? Ridiculous.
But Sanjay, at the end of these 4 days, today and tomorrow, Rajya Sabha debate will get over tomorrow. But what is BJP trying to achieve through this debate? At the behest of the opposition, they got ready to have a debate on the constitution. But if they were trying to get political mileage out of this incident, so at the end of 4 days, what do you think will BJP have achieved? Is it going to give all the supplies to the troll army and WhatsApp University after this? That look, this is what Modi had to say, this is what Nirmala had to say, this is what Anurag Thakur had to say. So all these trollers of the right wing, they will get lots of stuff, to use it further. So what is BJP actually achieving at the end of the day? Nehru bashing is not new with BJP. Indira Gandhi and Rajiv Gandhi bashing is also not new with them. About how Congress has been on emergency, that also has not been new. So if they are using this moment on the occasion of the glorious 75 years of the Indian Constitution, what do you think is the biggest takeaway for BJP? What are they telling the future generations and the present generations of the country?
My advice to everyone who is watching your program, Neelu, particularly the young, will be please do not believe in the WhatsApp University, in which the BJP is today made India into a misinformation and a disinformation capital of the world. And Neelu is serious business. You see, fake news is the biggest danger to democracies worldwide, because individuals get completely brainwashed because they get sustained negative news and they begin to believe it. But here is my answer to your question. The BJP is actually very thrilled because they believe that Mr. Modi, when he speaks, he gets 2 hours of television time for free. In any case, he literally owns all the TV channels because they dance at the tune. The second point is that if you notice the headlines the next day, whatever Mr. Modi says, all the newspapers will reproduce it verbatim. Modi blasts Rahul Gandhi, Congress, accuses Nehru and Rajiv Gandhi. I mean, these are headlines that in a normal democracy, people don't carry. Please remember that, Neelu. I'm telling you this because end of day, I read a lot of what's going on abroad and I've traveled quite a bit. Donald Trump may be the next president of the United States. A New York Times will not put him on a cover story unless he says something which is of very critical significance. In India, we are so obedient or subservient or almost down on our knees when it comes to the leaders that we literally don't even question the veracity of what they say. So if you take all the newspapers in India, all of them, from the most venerable to the most disreputed, they will carry Modi's speeches as he spoke in parliament. No questions asked. So you see what happens to the common people is they hear Modi for X number of hours on TV. Then all these anchors will make a big hullabaloo about it. And then the next day they find all the headlines without any edits are Narendra Modi's quotes. That's what the BJP likes. Because that's where they say, now whatever Mr. Modi says, and he will say, we defended the constitution. They will remind you of the emergency, 1975. We are reaching 50 years, my dear friends. And can you talk about the unofficial emergency in India for the last 121 months? Stealthy and dangerous as hell. But they won't. No media will say that at all, right? So Mr. Modi gets free television time. He gets free headlines in newspapers. And you're absolutely right. The trollers take over. What do the trollers do? Have you seen what they're doing? They take clips. They'll misrepresent something said on Himachal by Priyanka Gandhi. They will make Rahul Gandhi look bad by taking a clip and, showing him as if he's clumsy or, not speaking according to script. They have lied about the role of Sardar Patel. It's, anyone who studies history will go rolling on the floor laughing. But here is the point. The BJP knows that 90% of the people in our country won't have the time to go back to the history books. How many of us truly read patiently the truth or the wheat from the chaff. And that is what they exploit. So the bottom line, Neelu, for the future of our country is that people like you and several other people on YouTube, and I know on social media, there are very good people on social media who fight back these trollers. They need to be constantly feeding back that information. You see, the mistake that the opposition makes is, how do you fight misinformation and disinformation? Is that you put more communication out, put the truth out, fight it tooth and nail, because that's the only medium you have. Big media or legacy media is going to ditch you. So you need to be more aggressive, hold more press conferences, debunk. I would have liked Rahul Gandhi actually to hold a press conference yesterday or today and debunk Modi's speeches one after the other, even before Mr. Kharge did it. You understand what I'm saying? You need to be aggressive. You need to be out there batting day in and night out. Once people register that fake news culture, which they do, but they forget it from time to time, you got to tell them that every time BJP speaks, don't trade them at face value. That's how you change.
Yeah.
Stay ahead with our cutting-edge news app. Instantly access the latest shorts in just 1 minute and breaking news in just 50 words. Download now for a smarter, faster news experience.